All right, guys, welcome back to the ALGS channel. I hope you guys are all doing well, having a great day so far. So much to dive into and discuss about. Dropped actually confirming he is no longer teaming with Space Station Gaming, which also should be now known as Sentinels. The Sentinels roster should be updating very soon. However, Dropped will not be a part of it. We actually do know where he's going, but it has now been confirmed. It has now been official that he is no longer going to be on that roster. It was kind of speculated for quite some time. That was the rumor, but we now know for sure. We also know some updates regarding DarkZero, the former world champions, not happy with the ALGS format, and some things that have progressed over this last couple of days inside of the LAN. Also, Tfue with a massive controversy regarding the controller and the state of Apex Legends. And I guess you would say more specifically esports. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys want to stay up to date all things Apex Legends esports related. And let's go ahead and dive right into this one. As you guys can see in the background right now, I just thought this was crazy. There was actually a 1v3 that was performed by Rambo over on the guard, and it was not casted, it was not streamed. There was no even POV of this happening. When you even went back on the player's POV stream, it was of, you can see ESA's perspective of them getting 1v3'd by Rambo, and then on the guard you can see Keon's perspective, but he was, I think, like not even around, or maybe he was spectating. But yeah, just kind of crazy that you had an insane 1v3 play. I'm sure Rambo got super hyped after this. There was no one even watching it, but just thought that was definitely worth mentioning there. Maybe they could have a little better production going forward, and we'll talk about that very, very soon. Tfue also made this insane tweet saying, "Today is a massive day in gaming history. ImperialHal single-handedly ended the controller versus keyboard and mouse debate. This man is built different, and congrats." If you're wondering what he's talking about, obviously ImperialHal switching over from mouse and keyboard over to controller because he said it's that much more necessary, and this is what makes me worried about there being a controller nerf in the future. So if you guys are out there playing on controller, I feel like this is kind of like a like hammer on the nail, or this is kind of like a nail in the coffin kind of thing. They have talked about in the past that if they see players moving to one input or the other because they feel like it's an absolute necessity, then obviously it's becoming a problem. And with ImperialHal basically roasting how strong the controller is, he swapped from mouse and keyboard over to controller. He won the LAN, he won the North American Pro League, he won the group stage. Like, the TSM just absolutely dominated. Just simple as that. They did insane this past week, and not even this past week, but over the last couple of months in ALGS. And this is kind of like the nail in the coffin for some people, that there probably will be some type of an adjustment, because the devs have already stated that they don't want people switching to certain inputs because they feel like they have to. When you have stuff like this, when you have numbers like this and championships like this, it kind of just makes you think maybe the devs are going to be looking at that and saying, okay, we definitely need to make a change. But a lot of people are arguing with Tfue like, this isn't obviously worthy. NRG did insane as well. You still have two mouse and keyboard players over on NRG as well. So it's definitely not the end of the world, but we'll see what the devs decide to do. We'll see what route they decide to take. Regardless, this thing got a lot of likes as well, and I think it's got a lot of people pumped up. We'll see exactly what they decide to do when it comes to this. Also wanted to mention one of the bigger topics today. We got a lot of big topics today, actually. There was actually some confirmation over on the streams that Dropped would not be playing with SSG after this. Now, we knew this. We heard the rumors. We had heard it been talked about for quite some time, but we're not really sure why. I don't know if it's because the team just wasn't performing like they wanted it to, or maybe Drop got a really good offer and he's like, yo, I gotta go. Totally makes sense. But I thought Space Station Gaming honestly did pretty good this LAN. They definitely made it to the finals and did pretty well. Obviously, I'm sure they could have wanted a better outcome, but I think they did pretty well overall. However, we even heard Fallout over on the stream that this would be the last LAN that Drop would be playing with Space Station, saying that they've heard rumors, blah blah blah. So I guess that kind of confirmed it. Well, after the event was over, Drop did come out on Twitter and state that it is true. He said, "It's been a great 2 years teaming with my boys Frex and Zenial. However, it has been, it's had its ups and downs. We did some great things together, and that's what counts. But I'm excited for the next chapter, and I appreciate everyone that will continue to support me in my journey in ALGS and competitive Apex. Nothing but support down here in the comments." I'm still kind of confused as to why he's deciding to leave. I'm not sure. Maybe there's just a bag over at the next place, which seems to be Optic Gaming. And unfortunately, it looks like Duplex will be dropped from the Optic Gaming roster, so it should be going forward Knocked, Skittle Cakes, and Dropped as well. Unsure as to where Duplex may be going moving forward. However, definitely something that is worthy to mention. Also wanted to mention this was actually the final stats of each region competing in the ALGS finals. And I know this may not be significant for you, but this is why it is, because we actually heard confirmation from one of the casters, Fallout, that they would be changing maybe some of the slot that you have whenever it comes to ALGS for each region. So if one region does really, really well, they say, hey, look, we may need to give this region a little bit more slots here. If one region does really, really bad, they may say, hey, look, we need to take some slots away from this region because obviously they're not the best of the best, and their priority here is to get the best of the best. Obviously, when you force certain regions, you're going to have some, you know, some regions that have better teams than other regions. And so maybe like your top 20 is better than your top 5 from South America. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of weird, but this is actually the way that it broke down. And I kind of am a little concerned that maybe we'll have some taken away. So take a look at this. North America obviously showed out. 8 out of the 10 teams qualified. You cannot expect any changes to be made here. North America definitely will probably keep their 10 spots. I mean, if any world possible, it may go up, but I highly doubt it. Probably will just remain at 10. South America, only 1 out of the 5 teams qualified. I'm pretty sure that was Singularity. So this actually could be cut down to, you know, we've even seen like Call of Duty champs back in the day only do like 1 team from Africa or something. So maybe they're like, look, South America is not good enough. We only put them maybe 1 spot there, maybe 3 spots. Maybe they keep it the same. Maybe 5 as low as they'll go. But EMEA, they have not performed well at all. 3 out of the 10 teams qualified there. And you got to wonder, are they going to cut this down to 5? Are they going to, you know, cut back a couple spots? Maybe even do like 7 or something. I'm not sure. However, that is definitely something to note there. And they even outperformed. They even got outperformed by APAC North. APAC North had 4 out of the 10 teams. You got to wonder if they're going to cut back there as well. But one thing that I know has got to change, the APAC South region is definitely something that you've got to watch out for. 4 out of the 5 teams qualified there. They had 5 slots of people that came in, and 4 out of those 5 actually qualified. Unbelievable. These guys did really, really insane. And I really had a lot more respect for these guys moving forward, because we even saw, I think the current DarkZero roster was former APAC South, and they moved over to North America as well. And obviously they were in that North America finals team as well. So like, this is absolutely insane how good APAC South is compared to a lot of the rest of the world. In North America, APAC South definitely more dominant regions right now. But you got to also consider this. EMEA did miss out on a couple teams that should have been there. Fire Beaver should have been there. Another roster that I'm currently forgetting should have been there. So it's kind of a little bit of scuff stats. And we even saw some of the pro players were not happy with that format, because they were like, look, some of the best teams didn't even get to play here. And a lot of the players didn't get their visas in time anyway. So some of these teams weren't even complete. So it's kind of hard to go off those stats as well when you don't have the full teams. Regardless, that is what they said that they were going to do moving forward. But speaking of, like, you know, people not being happy with the format and people not being happy with the way that the things are ran, this was actually coming from DarkZero, the world champions, and their coach, about not being happy the way that this stream was ran and the way that this event was ran, saying the initial ALGS London tournament feedback that I had, the B stage was absolutely miserable. It was hot. There was no bathroom in the building that we played in. Very poor lighting. Let the coaches stand up so that we can see our players' POV. Event staff was way too strict, literally herding people onto the streets after the tournament. London itself is a great location. The player hotel EA Respawn chose was insanely nice and close to the event. The Copper Box Arena is simply not it. I really hope Champs is not there, and I think that's kind of what we anticipated. Like when we saw this arena, we're like, look, you know, it may be nice for one event and all, but it's not going to be a good Champs event. You're going to have people from all around the world wanting to pack this place out, especially when TSM and NRG and teams like this are showing out at their best peak performance. You can't have an arena that's small. I mean, it's unbelievably small. It's way, way too small. But leave it to EA and Apex, obviously, to probably take the cheapest arena possible. Not even sure if that's true, but it definitely is small, so I would imagine it's got to be cheaper. They also said, what the F is there no B? Why the F is there no B stream and a screen in the main stage arena, so you guys can't even see what's going over on the B stream if you're in the main arena? And obviously it's not happening in the same building. I think they have to move over across the street. So it's kind of unbelievable the way that they decided to do this. They actually did get a little bit of a response from the guy who I think is in charge of all of this, and said, we wanted to do it, but was a huge miss. We'll make sure that it gets rectified for next event. Otherwise, generally good feedback apart from the chairs. So it is good to see that these guys that are in charge of this have understood the feedback. Maybe they'll decide to, upgrade the status of all of this. And I really hope upgrade the location, because the Copper Box Arena is not going to be good. I mean, it's kind of like a embarrassment to see, like, I mean, the crowd is definitely there. You can definitely hear the crowd. I'm not trying to, diss on that. But it's like when you see the crowd is so small, it's kind of hard to get hype, because there's not, like, it doesn't really feel like an arena. It just kind of feels like a church or something. Like it's just like it's a couple hundred people there. I don't even know if you can probably fit 1,000 people in there. And the way that it's set up, it's just definitely not it. They need to go to a more surrounding arena, something that can actually pack in a lot more people. And I definitely hope that they do that moving forward. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a warning of some roster changes that very well may be happening very soon. So this was actually loser bracket round 2. Some things that you need to be worried about. 100 Thieves, we've already talked about it. They are most definitely probably going to be making some roster changes here. 3 mouse and keyboard players. Not many teams are running that composition right now. You know, there's definitely a lot of room for controller players to be fraggers, and I think that's exactly what 100 Thieves are needing right now. And no disrespect to anybody that's on the team. I think they're all cracked, but 100 Thieves has always been a slower style team, always been a more zone heavy team. They really need to have some type of fragger over on that roster, or else they're always just simply going to struggle. Also had losers round 1, some more people that got sent home. Oxygen Esports just got picked up. Not a good performance for them. Definitely looking to see maybe a little bit of a roster change that happens over there as well. Pioneers honestly just had a short end of the stick, didn't even have their third here, so I don't really know if there's going to be a roster change there. But Space Station obviously we know is going to have a roster change with Drop leaving, and we're also going to get not only a new person over on the Sentinels roster that should come there, but the person that Sentinels was trialing on a different roster went back to Glitch Gaming, so it's just going to be absolutely insane. Space Station should get picked up by Sentinels, so we heard, and then also Drop is going to be leaving there, theoretically going over to the Optic Gaming roster. Also FaZe should be making a roster. There are a couple teams here that are definitely noteworthy that did not make it to the ALGS, like Furia, like Optic, like FaZe Clan, you know, that you could definitely should be looking out for. FaZe I think is set to pick up the ESA roster right here, Esports Arena, so it should be Snipe Down, Phony Head, and I think Luda in all of this as well. Capra obviously probably not going to be competing anymore, at least so we hear over on this roster. And then I'm not sure exactly what Cody was supposed to be doing, or if Cody plans to stay in the, you know, next Esports Arena roster. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but Esports Arena is notorious for building amazing rosters and then selling them out to big teams. So shout out to Esports Arena, because they are about to make an absolute bag for the like 3rd or 4th time. They sold it to Optic last time, and they're just continuously building these amazing rosters. I don't know how they managed to do it. However, last thing I want to mention before we wrap this video up, Fallout did give a remarkable story that Mande has decided to give 1/2 of his 5th place earnings to Effect, which is actually the player that could not make it to land in time, because I don't think he got his visa. It was a 17-year-old Russian, Effect, who gave up a lot to relocate his family from Russia to Serbia, going all in on pro Apex career. Mande decided to give 1/2 of his earnings to him, and shout out to Mande. Mande did amazing this event. Alliance placing 5th, I think, overall. Just unbelievable, especially with the sub. Shout out to them. It was really nice to see Mande do so well in this event. And then also this roster, GO, they actually made it from the APAC North region without an organization representing them at all. They actually went and made their own little jerseys out of white t-shirts and stuff. These guys are insane. It was really good to see these guys, you know, kind of go through all this adversity. So shout out to them, and they are actually now officially looking for an org to represent. So let me know what you guys are thinking about all the rosters that could potentially be changing very soon, the way the ALGS London LAN was put on, and what changes that you guys would make. And then also let me know what you think about the whole Tfue conversation and ImperialHal switching to controller. Does it need a nerf? What's going to happen? And then also Dropped going over to Optic Gaming, maybe some potential region slots being taken away based off of performance. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I'll see you later, Gators.